Second influence is the progressed moon. Now this is 28 years takes to go through your chart. Okay, it's critical in seeing the major influence according to the chart. This is the most, now most people will teach you astrology, they'll have you learning about all the progressed planets and reading them. Don't do it. I mean, I won't tell you not to do it. Do it until you find out it doesn't work. You know what I mean? Do it any way you want to do it. But I don't tell people to or do not, but I tell you what works. Just use the progressed moon. That's all you need to use. Progressed moon. Transit Saturn. We got two things right now, right? Transit Saturn, right? Where it's at right now. Progressed moon is a day equals a year, right? You all with me with this? Got two influences, right? Okay. All right. Progressed moon. And the third influence I've already told you is what? The new moons. Okay. Now interesting, isn't this interesting? Think about this. You know, it takes 28 years for Saturn to go around your chart, transit Saturn. It'll be back 28 years roughly, 29, 27, it could be off a little bit. But it's going to take roughly 28 years to go through that chart. Guess what the progressed moon takes? 28 years. Strange, isn't it? Coincidence? Guess what the lunation cycle is for the new moons? 28 days. Oh, is that amazing? 28, 28, 28. There's something in that, I think. It's kind of like a code for you to learn, okay? So, if that's the case, how are we going to predict something? Okay? Okay. I like this scripture. It says, try all things, prove all things, and hold fast to that which is good. I kind of live by that. If somebody tells me if I get out of bed on the left side instead of the right every day, I'll feel better. I'd probably do it just to find out if it works. You know, I'm stupid enough to try it, you know what I mean? So that's how I believe. I say, look, you can tell me it works. As long as it doesn't hurt me, I'll try it, okay? I'm not going to hurt myself to figure it out. But the point being that scripture, I think it's a wonderful scripture. You know, it allows you to be open-minded and at least teachable. Teachable. You know, the word, the meek shall inherit the earth. The actual meaning of that word is?
Which one?
Meek?
No.
What do you think meek is? What does meek mean to you?
Weak, shy.
Shy, kind of timid, like,
yeah.
Meek, you know, don't speak up, right?
Submissive.
The word was not the same. It's not what it meant. It says the word was teachable. The teachable shall inherit the earth. You know, I used to be vice president of a company. I had to hire and fire people. I didn't fire many people. I would work with them and try to get them straightened out. But the point being that if they came in knowing it all, it was a waste of time. I knew they would never make it with me. Because you couldn't teach them anything. They all knew it, you know. And you know people like that, you know. You can tell them until you're blue in the face, this is the way to do something. They're going to do it their way, because I know better. All right, so teachable. The teachable shall inherit the earth. Okay? All things. Graze, I tell my students this, graze in everyone else's pasture, but give your own milk. In other words, learn from everybody. You know? Go to the best teachers, you know? You know, Barbara, she's a wonderful teacher. It didn't take me long to see that, okay? Go to the people you know that have the basics and will teach you the basics and won't take you on these journeys. How many asteroids did I tell you there are?
150,000.
150,000. Why do we use one or two? Think about it. Astrologers use Ceres, and they use, what else?
Chiron.
Chiron. Oh, yeah. Chiron's big today. They all using these asteroids. I say, good, why don't you use the 150,000 more of them? Why you pick those two? Why are they working and those aren't? If it works, it should have worked for all of them, right? I mean, it's so silly. Every chart you drew has a part of fortune in it. You ever seen that little part of fortune? Well, great, that's great. You know what that is? It's an Arabic part.
It's a what?
An Arabic part. It was developed by the Arabians. And what they had is many parts, not just a part of fortune. They had a part of death. They had a part of marriage. They had a part of this and that and the other. They had 100 parts. And you could put them in your chart and you would be so confused when you read it, you wouldn't know what to read. The thing is, the astrologers adopted part of fortune. I say, why? Because somebody told you you should use it, right? Don't go for it. Stay with the basics. Stay with the planets. That's what you need to work with. Don't get disillusioned by all this. Because right now, if you took all the factors in a chart, you've got aspects, degrees of orb, you've got planet signs, you've got houses, you've got all this aspect meetings. You know, probably 150,000 opportunities to read something out of that. And what do? You add a couple little trinkets in there. And then now you can cover about anything you want, because you can say anything you want. You've got enough things in that chart. You can confuse anybody, you know, including yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So stay with the basics. Even Barb knows that. She's been around this a long time. North node, south node. Baloney. Every planet has a node. Why don't you use the node of something else? You know, that's the moon's node, where it moves over the ecliptic. It goes north, it goes south. Big deal. So a lot of planets do that. I don't use those nodes. I'm trying to keep you down to the basics. Because believe me, in 9 years, I did all the techniques. I used to sit in my cell, and I'd find a new technique by Ebertin. It's a German guy. I don't know this guy or gal. Had a technique, it was supposed to be very predictive. Very accurate system. You know, it didn't work. And so you waste all these years looking, studying, and trying to figure it out. And then you come back to the reality. Come back to what the ancients worked with, the simple truths. All right, I'm getting luxury up here, I know. All right, let's go. Okay, the third rule, okay, that was Saturn. I discovered that in 2007. You'd think I would have found that earlier, right? But all of a sudden it clicked with me. And then when I was in Boston, and I started teaching. But then when I'd be teaching, the students would say, well, Laurent, let's test this. Give me a chart. This is my uncle, Uncle Billy. Billy died in a war at a plane crash, and this is when it happened. Let's see if it works. Oh gosh darn it works. Isn't it amazing? Then we got Robin Williams dies. The students say to me, Ron, does it work? Let's put it up there. Let's do Robin's chart. Guess what? It works. Accurate. Okay. Anna Nicole Smith. Remember her? Put her chart up there. Let's see if it works. It works. Accurate. John F. Kennedy's death. It should work. It works. It's accurate. I'll show it to you. I'm going to show them all to you today. Go through them as quick as I can. Boy, I get long-winded here. It's 2:15. Let's keep moving. All right. Okay. That's another thing. You'll be around astrology students and people all your life. When you get in this circle, you go to conventions. Oh, I got Saturn doing this, Saturn doing that. It doesn't matter unless the other things are there. That's what you're going to discover. And I know so many people, oh, I got Saturn going over my ascendant, I know something bad's going to happen. Well, you believe it long enough, it'll probably happen. You know, you can create it if you believe it. Your faith is counted unto you as what? It's counted unto you as righteousness, but it's also counts unto you as unrighteousness. In other words, it's accorded unto you by your faith, it says, the scripture says. By your faith, it's accorded unto you. So, tell me what fear is. What is fear?
That something bad's going to happen.
What?
That something bad's going to happen.
Oh, good. Is it a belief system?
It's apprehending stuff.
It's something you believe, right? Something bad's going to happen, right? Is that fear? Is it? Then would you call that faith? Something's bad's going to happen, right? In other words, faith is the same thing. Fear is faith.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah. Fear is faith. It's all the same energy, except that you've got it in believing something other than good or God. Oh, amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think I read, I can't remember the exact quote, that, you know, that one of the Bible, I have it on my refrigerator, I don't know how to read, that, you know, do not fear, have faith in the Lord.
Good for you. Don't fear, because fear is faith. Do
not fear,
remember this?
have faith.
Yeah, exactly. Faith in what? Good. Or God.
Yes.
It's like the story of Job. All the bad things happened to Job. Couldn't have been much worse. He lost his family, his crops, his cattle. He's a rich man. He lost everything. And he was Satan was in the council of the angels. Because he's an angel. He's talking to the Lord. The Lord says, you see my righteous man Job? Yeah, he's righteous. Let me work on him. He'll curse you to your face. What's Saturn want you to do? Curse. Accuse. 12th time. The worst form of accusing is self-accusing. That's called guilt. You walk around with guilt, you're going to get sick. You're going to have diseases and problems in your body. You know why? That's what guilt does.
Enjoy.
It divides you against yourself, yeah. So that's what Saturn is. Saturn, divide and conquer. Okay? Diablos, di, divide, abalos, abolish, divide and destroy. The spirit of division, separation, alienation, divorce is Saturn. So how do relationships end? Huh? You always and you never. You ever heard that in a relationship? You always and you never. What is that saying? I didn't forgive you then, I don't forgive you now. Living in the past. You always do this, you never do that. You never put the cap back on the toothpaste. Stupid things like that, you know what I mean? Break up a marriage over something like that. But the point being that that's the way it works. Division, separation, alienation. Finding fault, accusing, backbiting, belittling. You see? People say, I don't understand why I can't keep a relationship. Why I can't stay in a relationship. Why do I got problems in my marriage? What's going on? A lot of it's your own fear and insecurities, which says this. Honey, do you love me? What do you think that says? Is that expressed out, or if it's not, I don't know what is. You love me, honey? You really love me?
He's fearful that he's going to leave him.
So you're setting yourself up for divorce. The question itself produces very often what you fear the most. What did Job say after all the things that happened to him? He said, what I feared most came upon me. How'd those things happen? What I feared most came upon me.
But he believed this.
That was his weakness. That's how Saturn was able to do what he did. Okay. So. Yeah. Remember I ever tell you the story of the guy I hypnotized, told me he never smoked a cigarette again? Did I ever tell you that story?
Yeah.
And he came by and I wanted so bad to ask him, I couldn't dare do it. Because if I had asked him, have you had a cigarette in those last 6 months? I was expressing the doubt.
Who's your doubt, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm the guy that told me he'd never have a cigarette again.
Yeah, I cannot ask.
Thank God he left. Before he left, he said, well, by the way, I haven't had a cigarette in 6 months. I'm glad I found that one out before I left. I was the one who was doubting, right? Oh, anyway, but I couldn't betray my doubt. Anyway, so, okay, let's go through this now. Key to prophecy. It's like a combination lock. I have a combination, I have a safe. Got to get three numbers, right? If you get all three, guess what? That door opens. Huh? You ever done a slot machine? For that lever, and if you line all those things up perfectly, guess what happens? Guess how you win a prize, right? Guess what rules locks and locksmiths and Saturn and even those machines? Saturn does. So Saturn's been the key all along, but we didn't always know that, okay? Okay. Charge the realignment of positive, okay. I'm going to talk about the cosmic key, that's what I call it. Okay, I'm showing you the worst side of this. I'm showing you because this is easy to see, death, heart attacks, whatever the thing is, okay. I've chosen these as demonstrating the incontrovertible power of the cosmic key to predict events of major impact on our lives, okay. Having worked with planetary influence of death, I've always been aware of the relationship of Saturn to keys, to timepieces, chronometers, Chronos, Father Time, the measure off of all things. Transit Saturn is only able to unlock the meaning of the chart and bring out the hard aspects of it when it is triggered by one or two other influences. Okay, 2 or 3 witnesses, we don't need to go through that again, but it's the progressed moon has to be aligned, and the new moons have to be aligned. When you get all 3, you got an actual combination unlocked. So I want to begin a very impacting event happened to me recently. I had a major heart attack on Sunday evening around 10 p.m. on December 14, 2008. How many years ago was that? 2008. This is 15. It's been 7 years now, huh? By the way, I've never taken their medications. They said you'll die if you don't take this every day. Yeah. You'll die if you don't take it. I took it 3 months. I got so sick on their medications. I said, I don't want to live like this. I'd rather just let me go. You know, if I got, let me have a happy.
Less painful, it'd be less painful, right?
Yeah, just let me live. And if I'm going to go, let me go at least not sick every day. I'd rather be And now I'm a cardiologist. I told him the story, and every time I go to see him, he said, "You're good, Ron. I'll see you in a year." I said, "How come I'm alive?" He told me when I walked out of the hospital, if you don't take Plavix every day, the blood thinners, this and that and the other, that stent we put in you is going to kill you. It's only going to get worse. And I said, "Really? Okay." So I walked out of there with a lot of fear. I remember going out with my son and his girlfriend and her parents, and we're in a beautiful restaurant, and everybody's ordering steak and stuff. He says, "I can't have any meat." "No, no, Ron, you can't have meat anymore." You know, I eat anything I want now. But the point being that there's, you know, it's like, what can I say? I told my cardiologist, I said, "How come it is?" I said, "I'm still alive." He says, "Well, Ron, let me tell you, a lot of us believe now that you're probably the most sane guy on the earth because you're doing something that we actually believe now. That the medications are worse than the cure."